Welcome to the Caddo Convos, the podcast that explores the vibrant community of businesses thriving in Caddo Office Reimagined. We're here to shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and professionals who make the most of our private offices, co-working spaces, and day office rentals in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs. Join us as we share their stories, celebrate their successes, and dive into the benefits of working in a space that's close to home but offers so much more than working from home. Let's get started with today's conversation. Welcome to the Caddo Convos. I'm Buddy Broyles, your host, and today joining me in the studio is Angie Spears with Class 101, Prosper and Frisco. Angie, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Buddy, for having me.
Excellent. So tell me about your business.
So Class 101 is a college planning and test prep company. We, of course, offer ACT and SAT test prep, as well as our most popular option is our college planning option. We have a package that helps students to walk through the college application process. Although I say process and putting emphasis on the word process, It is a lot more than just, filling out an application paper and turning it in like it used to be. So I don't know about when you went to college.
Some time ago.
Yeah, me too. It was a lot different. Colleges have gotten a lot more competitive now. They are also much more expensive. And so we help families navigate that process. A lot of them make the mistake. I think the biggest problem we have with students is they wait until July or August of their senior year to start thinking about college and start applying for college. And when they open up that Common App in August and they realize everything that they should have been doing, it's a panic moment. So we get lots of calls around that time to get some help. But if they start the process early, we start with students as early as 8th grade. If they start that process early, we can navigate that much quicker for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Start early.
Yes, definitely.
Like anything else in life, you can get ahead of that.
Absolutely.
How long have you been in business?
So we have been in business. Our franchise owners have owned their franchise for 6 years. We have been here in Prosper and Frisco for about a year and a half now. But Class 101 in general has been in business for over 20 years.
Okay. Yeah. Helping students that entire time and evolving with the process.
Yes, absolutely, because it has definitely evolved. And especially since COVID, there's been a lot of changes, a lot of things happening in higher ed. So we always stay on top of what's happening and what's new.
So for parents out there, best advice is when should they engage with a perspective? Like is it 18 months out? 2 years?
So really, ideally, we like to start with students in 8th or 9th grade.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That gives us more time to help work through our 10 services. A lot of students don't realize that they need to have a resume. Did you have a resume when you went to school?
Oh, goodness, no.
Right. No. Did you write essays to get into college?
Certainly did, yes.
So, and then, there's just those processes. Also, academic advising. That's a huge part now as schools have gotten much more competitive. They want certain rigorous coursework on there. And just because the state of Texas says that you're okay to have, 3 science classes doesn't mean that every college or program that student wants to go to is going to accept that. They might want 4. So we need to catch those things early so students don't find that out day of, their applications, and they're not panicking or worried about that. We don't want them to make mistakes.
Right.
Yeah, so the earlier we can start them with that. Also, there's a lot of research to be done. A lot of things that the students can find out early, a lot of things they can be doing to build their resume. There's just a lot of stuff that they can really start working on very early on. And if we work through that and manage that time, it's a lot less stressful their senior year because who wants to not enjoy their senior year? They only get that one time. So we really want to make that a possibility for our students.
So far beyond college prep, you're talking about just the entire career.
Absolutely.
Beyond junior high, effectively.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because there's so many things you can do, to get it right ahead of that.
Definitely.
So who is your typical customer? I mean, I imagine it's somebody someone going to college in a few years.
Yes. Yeah. So our typical customer are 8th through 12th grade students. The earlier they start, the better, of course. Anyone that's looking to get into college, anytime after they graduate high school, that's really our ideal candidate. We have students that start their senior year, and that's okay. We can work with that. But the earlier they get in there, the better.
And you serve both Prosper and Frisco. You said you have an office here at Caddo in Prosper and also in Frisco.
Yes, we do have 2 locations. We also have our franchise owners also own an Oklahoma location in Norman, Oklahoma.
Okay.
But we work with students everywhere. We work with students virtually and in person.
Oh, terrific.
So we do have students in all, any state, anyone, anywhere we can work with. We do have a student that just signed up not too long ago in Alabama. Of course, the majority of our clientele is here in Prosper or Frisco or the surrounding areas, just, location-wise for driving and things like that. So we have those one-on-one meetings in person that a lot of people really like. But we do have that option for virtual if needed.
So you mentioned the one-on-one. Is that how it starts? Talk me through the process. Say, like, I just picked up the phone or found you through the website.
Yes.
What's next?
Yes. So we have 10 services that we offer, and what we do is we're going to set a student up with a college planner that they will work with through their whole process until maybe their senior year. Occasionally, we put them with a senior counselor, someone that's more capable of handling the actual application process. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work with that student on developing a college list. Every student's different. Some of our students are looking for Ivies. Some of them are looking for state schools. Some want the small private schools. They don't know what they want until they get in there and start researching.
Yeah.
So the best thing we help them do is we help them research. We dive into it. We find out what are the costs involved. What size of school do you like? Do you like those big schools like Texas A&M, or do you want a small private school? What are the areas? A lot of students think it's fun and want to go to school up in New York or out in Hawaii or California until mom and dad say they're not going to pay for their plane ticket to fly back and do their laundry every weekend, right? So we want to make sure that it's going to be a good fit for the family and the student. Parents want their students to be safe. That's highly important, so we research out those things. But then we want to make sure that the student's going to be happy. It's the first time many of them are getting out there and being independent. Do they like recreational areas? Are there things around there for them to do? Or is it just more they want Target and Starbucks down the street? What's important to the student? And then, of course, that educational piece. Do they offer the major they're interested in? What are the standards of the school? What things are they looking for? So we really help them we try to help them figure out about 10 schools that they want to apply to.
Oh, wow.
And to do that, one of the most important components is getting on campuses. And I'm not talking about just game day. Of course, that's fun. Everybody has fun on game day until somebody loses, so that's always fun. We want them to get there on campus during school days when they can see what it's really like, what that vibe really feels like when students are hustling and bustling back and forth. Are they going to be able to find their way around? Are they going to be able to find the medical emergency area if they have, an emergency come up? So we want to make sure that they can feel comfortable on campus as well. Sometimes that's the make or break for a lot of students on whether they decide to apply to a school or not.
Yep.
Then the next thing we're going to do is that academic advising piece. A lot of our schools are extremely competitive now. So, for instance, if you're looking at a school like UT Austin or some of your more highly selective schools, they want rigorous coursework. So we need to make sure that our students early on are taking those AP classes and the AP classes that they can be successful in, because it doesn't really make much sense to take an AP class that's going to bring down your GPA if you cannot be successful. And then they need to determine, is it dual credit classes or is it AP classes? Which is it that I really need to focus on? And every student's different. Every school is different. So we have to really research those things out to see which is the best fit for them.
Wow.
And then also when it comes to upgrading their resume, we want to make sure that our students just have a step above everyone else. We want to make sure that they have all of those leadership opportunities that they can take advantage of, put on their resume. We want them to have some volunteer hours. Those are things that are necessary that colleges really look at these days. If they have any work experience, if they have any sports, all of those things are going to show up on their resume. So we want to show their strengths and what our students are going to, offer to those universities. Then we're going to craft that college essay, or all of their college essays, honestly. We do have I cannot speak. We do have a college essay workshop that we will work through with our students to help them develop that personal statement essay. It's a unique essay that's unlike anything they've ever done in English class. So we help them to create that, help them structure it, brainstorming, editing, all of those processes. But not only that, every school has their own individual essays that you'll have to write. We have students that have to write over 20 essays for all the colleges they're applying to.
Wow.
So we want to make sure that we help them work through those, edit them, and that they're perfect before they put them in their application and send them off.
Terrific.
And then the next step that we're going to work with is managing applications and deadlines. Not only do students need to know what early action, early decision, and regular admission, rolling admission, they need to know what all of those things mean, but they also have to keep track of housing deadlines, scholarship deadlines, orientation deadlines, all of the deadlines that are going to come up. And if they're applying to 10 schools, they'll easily have over 50 to 60 deadlines that they're going to have to keep track of. We make sure that they're staying on top of those and we do not miss deadlines. And then the next thing we're going to work on is exploring scholarship opportunities. Scholarships are the best way to help students save money when it comes to going to school, and they're important. Used to, when we were going to school, schools cost about the equivalent of an investment of a new car. Now it's more like a new house, and so that's a huge, huge investment for most families or students. We want them to be in as little debt as possible. So we make the goal that our students can do everything they can to achieve any type of merit scholarship offered by the institution. Most, not all, but most of the money that students gain from scholarships are going to be from the institution itself. And that's the big money. Yeah. So there are outside scholarships out there, but they're highly competitive. And typically the money's not quite as much there. So really the most they can get is that institutional scholarship. And we want to do everything we can to put them in a good position to obtain those. And then the next thing, of course, is pursuing financial aid. So when it comes to FAFSA, CSS for your private schools, we'll help parents and students navigate that process, make sure that they know how to fill those out correctly and get them in on time. And then transitioning to college, we're going to make sure that once they graduate and they walk through the doors at school that they're ready to go. They've scheduled, their orientation. They have their housing and their roommates picked out, everything. We go through everything with them. So once they graduate, they're just ready to go.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's comprehensive.
Very.
and that's the thing is, like you said, with parents who have gone through that process themselves when they were younger.
Yes.
So much has changed.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's so competitive, and we all want the best for our kids.
Absolutely.
So tell me, is there a range? Let's say I'm preparing financially. Say my kid's 6. I'm like, okay, I've got a few years, just like planning for anything else financially. What would you say is a range that we should plan for your services? Is that something that's easy to give out? Or?
So when it comes to our services, we have packages that range anywhere, depending on when the student starts with us.
Ideally early.
Yes, ideally early. But the average is around $5,000.
Gotcha.
Yes, and then we do have payment plan options for families that need that.
That's wonderful. So you can meet people where they are.
Yes.
And for people who have multiple children, that's about the same. Is there a discount for multiple children?
There is a discount. Yes.
Oh.
If you sign up at the same time, the students both will get a 10% discount. And if they sign up later, say you've got a 6th grader and then a junior in high school, and that 6th grader is going to sign up later on after the other students graduated, then they'll get a 5% discount at that time. Yeah.
So it pays to get more involved.
Definitely.
That's
yes, we have a
terrific.
lot of families that take advantage of that.
Tell me a couple of success stories. I know you've served so many families.
Yes. So really, it's hard to say because I think all of our stories are success stories.
True.
All of our students have found colleges, from those students that were struggling students that weren't, straight A students, and they didn't think they could get into school, and we've gotten them into a great school that they absolutely love, to those students who have gotten into Ivy Leagues, or, we have one right now that just went to the Air Force Academy last year. So some really exceptional stories as far as that goes, but every student is different, and they each have their own different type of success. So I really feel like each and every one of our stories is a success story.
How did you get into this?
So I started out as an educator many years ago, and I was in the education field, absolutely loved working with the students, but didn't love everything else that came along with it. So I broke off and went into the real estate world in Oklahoma City for a while, and I was a top producer there for many years. And while I was doing that, I started coaching and mentoring other realtors and absolutely loved it. It really brought back my love of teaching. So when we made our move to North Texas, it was just the perfect fit. I knew our owners back in Oklahoma, and whenever we got to talking about this opportunity, I thought, this is what better way for me to help people than to help students find success. I love seeing the look on their eyes when they get those acceptance letters, and the families are just really excited and so happy. It's really my dream job. So,
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Best way to contact you?
So the best way to contact me is either email or by phone, and my email address is aspears, ASPEARS, @class101.com. Or my phone number is 469-406-6068. And then anyone that's interested in our services or just wants a little more information can also get online and follow us or check us out at class101.com/Prosper Frisco TX.
Terrific. Yeah. So you have 2 offices in the Caddo Office Reimagine. Why did you choose Caddo?
So we chose Caddo for a few reasons. Number one, the facilities are both just very they're very pretty. They're very welcoming. The atmosphere is really nice. But also, we have several planners that work in our offices. So sometimes it's just me. Other times there's 6 of us at a time working with students. So we needed the flexibility of having those conference rooms that we can book, and they're easily booked, and so that's really nice. Also, the classroom downstairs is a great option when we have our SAT and SAT and ACT test programs. We also offer college admissions nights sometimes, so that's a really nice place to have that kind of event. And then also we have some students that aren't driving yet, so parents need a place to sit and just take a break, maybe get some work caught up, things like that. So the lounges are really great and really welcoming, fun environment that they can just chill out for a little while until their student's done with their meeting.
So I know scholarships are challenging, and you've had some successes finding scholarships for students. Tell me about those.
So with our last year in 2024, we had 79 seniors graduate. We had around $164,000 on average per student scholarship money. So we've even had one student that was $1 million student.
Incredible.
So we really, we strive to obtain those scholarships for those students, and they work really hard. And those are things that they put in every effort with those test scores and those grades. So we really encourage them all along the way, and we've had great success with that.
So before we close, Angie, give me some advice that you can give to parents or people who are concerned.
Don't wait. It's never too early to start, and it's never too early to start researching those colleges. Once your student even shows an interest in attending university, then make sure that you're prepared for that and that they're not waiting until the last minute. Start doing your research early, start checking into things early, start testing, as soon as that option comes up, and test more than once. There's so many things I could tell them, but the main thing is just don't wait until your junior or senior year. Get started earlier.
Excellent. Well, Angie, thank you for joining me today on the Caddo Convos.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us today on the Caddo Convos podcast. A huge shout out to our incredible network of members for making our community vibrant and supportive. If you're looking to boost your productivity and reduce the isolation of working from home, consider joining us at Caddo Office Reimagine. Our spaces are designed to meet your evolving needs, support remote work, and foster a sense of community that's hard to find at home. Whether you're a startup aiming for growth, a freelancer seeking a professional setting, or a company looking to optimize resources, Caddo offers a perfect blend of flexibility and innovation. By joining us, you'll be a part of a dynamic business ecosystem that helps you thrive. For more information, visit caddooffices.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Caddo Convos.